And here we are, the last session at this year's HR Week conference. This panel will be moderated by Petar Kosovac. You've heard his name during the last few days. He was asking questions. So Petar Kosovac is a corporate trainer and coach with worldwide business experience. Over the years, he successfully worked as a business and consumer marketing manager in telecommunications. Through work with L&D teams, Petar realized that what he enjoys most is the education. He completely dedicated his work to education, first as a learning and development expert in Serbia and then globally. He worked for 2 years as a trainer in Telenor Global team with the expertise in leadership, coaching, innovation, and presentation skills for Sweden, Norway, Bulgaria, Malaysia, Pakistan, Myanmar, Thailand, etc. Welcome, Petar.
Hello, nice to see you.
Nice to see you. Good luck with your panel, and I'm looking forward to the introduction of your panelists.
Thank you. Hello, Sanja. Hello, Alisa. Hello, Marina. Nice to see you. Okay, we are extremely limited with time comparing the topic. I mean, we have to sum up the entire HR week. No pressure. And let's start as soon as possible. So just gonna mention who is here with us. So Alisa, welcome, HR director from Nice. A lot of experience, as I checked on LinkedIn. Sanja Nonkovic from Nordeus, HR director, and also a lot of experience from different companies. And Marina Matic, MPC, HR director. Also saw Nelt and Hemofarm and so on. So extremely interesting panelists. So what we are going to do now is browse through some topics, try to cover up and sum up what was here for the last few days. So ready? So let's start with the first question. I'm going to trigger first one for you, Marina. So there was a lot of discussion about HR, strategic role of HR, business in HR cooperation, and what can go wrong. I heard today from Centili CEO Zoran Vasiljev, who actually introduced HR as a strategic function. But what happens when you don't have such a mindset as a CEO? So I would just like to structure this discussion a little bit. So not just to say what can we do better, what was wrong, but let's use the famous Rick Maurer and his 3 levels of resistance. So where is the problem? Is it regarding communication? Is it regarding I don't get it? Like the first level of the resistance, we are not talking the same language. We have business and we have HR coming from the different perspectives. Also, I think Boina from G4S was today talking about it's useful that HR gets some financial language under their skin, or I don't like it. So you present something, it's understandable, but your audience, your CEO, your business don't like that. So what can you do? Or is that a problem? Or I don't like you. I understand what you're talking about. I may even like it, but I don't believe that you're the one that can deliver that. I don't trust you enough. So where do you see, from your experience and perspective, where do you see the main challenges arise and how to address it?
Thank you, Petar. Thank you for introduction and for this first question. I really like it because I think it is very important for us. I agree fully that we have few level of resistance, but I will took just a minute to explain something from psychological perspective, because if we are talking about transformation, fortunately in my career, I had a chance to make transformation from transactional to strategic HR 4 times. And I need to share something which is completely based on my experience, that you can have a great vision, you can have a great plan for this transformation, but if you don't have a plan and action how to build new generation of HR, you as HR lead are lost. And that's really based on my experience, because you need to have a new, fresh generation of HR to support this idea, to put it in practice in the future together with you. And why I'm mentioning that, because actually we can talk here about external resistance, but actually I would like maybe to answer your question with additional question, which means that we should maybe think about internal resistances. So I don't know what do you think about this, but I think actually that all experienced people in HR in our region should think much more about that, how we are building new generations of HR, how we educate them, how we support them, how we expose them to the business, or we like to be superstar and being only one who is going on the board directors meetings or something like that. At the end, I think actually that we should think about us. Are we good role models? And who and how is teaching these new generations? What is criteria of successful HR stories and so on? So sorry for answering with the questions, but I think this is good hint from my side.
Okay, so empowering those young ones, the new generation, giving them opportunity to fail and learn and to grow, so they are able to build this into strategic HR more. Thank you.
Exactly.
Sanja, what's your take on this?
So I thank you, Marina, for sharing that, because I thought when you mentioned internal struggles and resistance, it kind of built a little towards what I was hoping to say about this topic. So when I first heard like the resistance, like I had a slight resistance talking about these different levels of resistance, because it kind of assumed that we are at the beginning of the change curve, really, that HR is something new that everybody has to adapt to, and that we are now kind of in a friction or denial phase, and that we need to kind of find ways to go through that. Though I really, really hope that we're actually past the dip in the curve, and that we're, going out of it, and that basically there is an understanding that there is no business without people, and that we are not sitting on the opposing sides of the same table with the business and negotiating something. I rather want to imagine that we're together on the whiteboard, trying to solve problems, together, going towards the same vision. So I think we speak the same language. I think we know how to build trust. I think we know how to stakeholder manage. I think we know increasingly more and more about the businesses that we join and work with. So I think we are past that, and I'd love to kind of change that kind of dynamic in a way, where I do think we differ slightly is this internal struggle. But when I say internal, I mean us as leaders and as HR leaders. I think we differ in the levels to which we allow ourselves to feel equal to the business and do things because they're the right thing to do, and make risks, because, hey, this is an adventure, and we might, make a huge success out of this, but it could also fail gloriously, and we could talk about it on fuck up nights, and it's okay. I think I'd rather focus on that bit, like we are there to shape the business as well, and have that courage and kind of behave equal in a way.
So you're talking also about confidence of HR. I think Dusan Basala was mentioning the lack of confidence in HR leadership. That could be one of the reasons not to push. Maybe it's because of the history. Yeah, interesting.
Probably. I think it's confidence. It's also thinking about possibilities and ambition, and kind of thinking, okay, like I can, shape the business as well. And, I'm invited to do that. I'm equal, and I should be, behaving in that way. I don't want to say, I just say we're at different levels there, and we're growing, and it's okay. So, and I don't want to say I'm amazing at that. I'm growing as well, so that's okay.
Okay, cool. Thank you. How about you, Alisa? I know that most of it is already said. They already spoke a lot. Do you have anything to add, or what?
I would say different companies are at their different level of development. There are some new companies just appearing with very few personnel. They have small some of them even don't have HR, and I know the companies
Yes.
with thousands of employees without any HR people. So I would say first we have to look at from this perspective, and if I would say from the other side, the attitude of business toward HR, this resistance, I would say the level of I don't get it. It's for the small companies where HR just appears like, who are you? What are you saying? We don't understand because we don't yet appreciate it and know that you're needed at all. The level I don't like it, it's the companies that are already stable with a very strong HR department that translates the certain rules, and actually they are supposed to help the managers to work, but they don't like it because they like to make rules themselves. So, and the third level, I don't like you, I guess it's the case when HR is a man. So, I mean, when unfortunately, most business crucial positions are taken by men, and for them it's much easier to get used to a woman, like taking care of them and taking them through the rules. So when it's a man, sometimes it's difficult. But that was a joke.
Okay.
I think there won't be any resistance. For example, I feel in the company somebody is not happy from one side. Somebody is dictating rules or trying to systemize the processes. But from the other side, when something happens, for example, this crisis, Corona came March, who worked? IT providing work from home and HR. And everybody was looking at us saying, guys, what to do next? And nobody had any, I don't like it, I don't get it, or I don't like you. Please tell us what to do. And that was very efficient. So if we help the business and we show that we are eager to help, not just saying, no, it's not possible, but providing a solution, then we won't have any resistance in global.
I guess it helps when you have a burning platform and you need to make some decisions. Then, it becomes a little bit easier. Thank you. I'm going to move to another question. Next one is around psychological safety, and that's kind of a hot topic now in the HR world. So now this one goes to Sanja. How do you see the HR support or lead in creating psychological safety in organizations?
Yeah, so the whole story about psychological safety for me is a story about great leadership and trust, and the story about how these amazing leaders let others, speak out and make mistakes and take risks and fail glamorously. So I think, and then also survive. And it's also a story about how these people, by trying so many times, actually made some kind of a market breakthrough with all these behaviors and mindset and grit that they have. So for me, having psychological safety has to go with innovation, and we're all about innovation in any industry we are. So I think it's super important, and I think our primary role is to work with these leaders and basically help them. I was inspired this morning by Dejan Turk's presentation, and he was talking a lot about, hey, you need to help leaders, like as HR, you need to help leaders stay authentic and keep truthful, because it's easy to kind of lie to yourself and then communicate that to your employees, right? So helping our leaders really stay authentic and kind of manage their frustrations. They will all the time, they will be frustrated with the lack of results. They might become angry at a point and everything, but we help them channel that in a constructive way, so that it's not turned at people, but rather, you can share your anger, it's fine. Just don't take it at people, because they need to feel safe. They need to still feel free to take risks and
And you know, this is just one example. I think how our leaders communicate disagreement is important. I think how our leaders fail is extremely important, and as they set the example practically. So I think these are just some of the examples, but I think they're super important, and this is where we help them be better and kind of role model in the organization. I think what matters as well is helping them make great decisions. I think any people-related decision is a small culture-defining moment, like whoever you choose to hire, to whoever you choose to fire, whoever you choose to promote, it is a culturally defining moment as well. It shows, it gives a message about what we want and what is amazing and what is not amazing, and you need to give that story. So I think making great decisions so that you build this group of people that are gonna have or foster psychological safety is super important. And then also, I think we play a role as leaders ourselves. Also, like we have to behave like that with our team. People look how we lead our teams and how we work with the rest of the organization, and then they take that as a message for what's okay and what's not okay. So I think those are some of the roles that we have as HR people in creating psychological safety.
So to sum up, around culture, around role modeling, but not just from the CEO or top management, also from HR people, how you lead your teams. It's all examples, right, of the good behavior. What about you, Alisa? How do you see?
To add, because Sanja mainly spoke about HR support to leadership, but we have to think of all the employees. And I think one of our key possibilities how to provide this ecological safety, that's to fix in the company, to establish a proper communication, because the lack communication provides this unsafety feeling. So even not very good news have to be translated, because when you have the whole information, then at least you understand what is happening, and then you have a feeling of trust. I think trust is the most important of values, cultural values in the companies, because if there's the trust, because in between employee and employer, then it even if something bad is happening, so then you understand why it's happening. So then we have also to support support employees in some things. So for something like, for example, NIS has a very strong social program, and we concentrate on that. If somebody has problem and the employee knows the company helps in a lot of situations, it's also some kind of feeling of stability. Then we have to be also to teach, as Sanja said, everybody to show empathy. It's not difficult. It's really easy, and everybody is like when people are empathetic to them, but it takes a lot of energy to show empathy for the others. But this is also some kind of feeling appreciated, feeling good, costs nothing, but makes a lot of differences. And then I think it's also very, very important, but it's very, very hard task, to teach and constantly educate all the employees that each, I don't say problem, it's challenge, it's an opportunity. I like this movie Up in the Sky, when actually firing somebody, he opened the new opportunities, but sometimes a person had to stand in front of the door to understand that it's not the end of the road, it's just the beginning. And I think this is a key task, because if I know, okay, I won't have this working place, or I have something not as I want, but I might have a lot of other opportunities. And actually, I think that provides also this ecological safety, because I'm then more sure in myself, because I know how to see opportunities. And actually here, maybe we can provide some trainings for creative thinking or out-of-box thinking, because then it shows our employees more opportunities. And I think that's enough from my side.
Okay, I will restrain from pushing this conversation into pure L&D. Marina, what can you add on top of Alisa's comments?
Yeah, just maybe a few things, because a lot of things are already said. But in this time, it's for me, it's almost impossible. It's very hard, to be honest, and I need to be honest in this panel, because I think this is okay to be, because let's be fair, many companies are decreasing the number of employees in this time. Psychological safety is not a topic only within the companies. This is a topic for everyone at the moment. So it's very hard. And what I can just say what we are doing. We are much more than ever doer and psychologist in the same time. What does it mean? We are trying to be very responsive with any questions that employee has. Never mind, it could be my salary is not calculated well this month. For him, it could be just one small thing which will make him completely depressed or angry or whatever. And we have this policy, fast response to any question, which is going to be really crazy, but we need to do that. Knowing my culture in my company, I'm talking about this at the moment. And on the other hand, we are really talking a lot to people, trying to explain them what Alisa said, some other perspective, trying to have a real empathy. But on the other hand, at the end, trying to be very transparent, even with bad news.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I was listening last week to some Neuro Leadership Institute research, like how stressed we all are now. Like everyone are under stress. It's just, are you in the deeper level of stress or less? But everyone are really stressful, and the most are the people, of course, get fired, but also that work from home with kids. So this is something that creates a lot of challenges. Regarding the learning and development, I will not restrain myself anymore. I remember Mitya Korals, he was talking about some trends that investment in recruiting might decrease or will decrease, while investment in learning and development budget will increase, kind of like that. So what's your take on that, Sanja?
So now that I think of the past, let's say, 6 months and what happened, I think that basically the businesses have definitely been faced with uncertainty that they haven't seen before, and challenges that they had to solve really, really quickly, and they need capabilities that they either don't have or have a little, but it's now like the critical capability that you need to have immediately. And so when I take some well-known businesses, for example, like take Airbnb, how successful they were and how their primary business line was kind of endangered with this whole crisis, and then they worked on experiences line and how they invested resources there. So I think they must have had to pull on capabilities that they didn't know they had, or like it was really important at that point. So I kind of think that companies will be reluctant to hire at this time, because you don't know what's going to happen to your business and whether we will keep earning or not, blah blah blah. And they will try to reshuffle internally and use what they already have to better get set for success. So we have ourselves gone through a few restructures recently to exactly do this. And I think a lot of people got new opportunities, and basically these capabilities that I mentioned, they either have them as their strength or they have potential to grow in that space. So I think wherever, in whichever business, people will move internally and build on their internal resources for sure. We will learn a lot from this. We will definitely need to support these people during this time. So probably some companies will choose to invest in L&D to support them. But I'm afraid not all of them will be in the position to pay. So I'm not sure whether the increase of the L&D budget is going to be because of the decrease of the recruitment budget, and then it looks like L&D is increasing. For sure, there will be an increase with the companies where they can invest. What I just want to end this whole essay with is that I truly believe that we learn most from our own experience on the job through a crisis. So I'm sure that the best L&D opportunity is in your role, trying to solve that strategic problem you have at hand for your business because it has to survive. And that, you know, in a year from now, we will all be talking about war stories and our careers and how they changed in the past year or so. So I think that's like the biggest thing that I'm sure we will all grow. Not sure if everybody will be investing in L&D more. Like, I really cannot comment.
Hopefully you're wrong. Okay.
Okay.
Just kidding. Alisa, can I have your take on this one? L&D versus recruiting and what's happening in that realm. We don't hear you now.
I would say the trend of this year: no investment in recruitment, no investment in T&D. Hopefully, it will be changed next year.
So, I tell you.
First, I would I have arguments with my colleagues. For me, the trend is we already had the trend when T&D was the most important process in HR. But I think now we all focus more on recruitment because it's much more difficult to recruit people. The market becomes more scarce. The requirements of positions are more specific, especially in Serbia. It's a very specific market. And our new generations coming to work, they are also very specific and they have their own ideas on the employer they want to choose. So it changes. So for me, recruitment becomes more to a focus, how to recruit and what should we do to get people on board. If we talk from investment, I would say that the market is much more limited on the instruments of recruitment. Whereas the human being is so unlimited in resources. So by investing into a proper way, we can achieve, I would say, what we don't expect to achieve. And this is thanks to proper training and development policies and practices. So that's why I think investment there could be and is much higher. So I can judge it based on, for example, my budget. From the other way, if I will look to trends and look to market the development, what we see before, like our parents and even us, what do? You go to university, you learn, you get your university degree, you are hired because you have this degree, and the whole life you do just small upgrades, maybe some professional small trainings for certifications. That's it. What is now? Now everything is accessible on internet. They say each 2 years we are losing 50% of our knowledge. The speed becomes quicker, so we are running to stay on the same place. So we are trying to acquire the knowledge everywhere. So what I say, for example, now we don't only have to put the employee, the goals of the business for their annual bonus, but there should be also goals of self-development. Because if you don't develop yourself, you won't be able to develop business in 1-2 years. So it's your obligation as a super resource that provides efficiency. Otherwise, you will be outdated. So, and from that side, I think in T&D, we need to invest a lot. Also now, we recruit not mainly, but a lot now, and this is also a trend. We do not recruit based on knowledge, but we recruit based on values. Because you can teach, but you can't change a personality. And if the candidate doesn't correspond to your values, it's better to invest into training because that can be changed. But the personality can be changed. So I think from this perspective, we have a long way to develop our T&D budgets.
Yeah, there's a lot of discussions about quality of hire and how to recruit regarding your values. Marina, can you get your take on this? And I would only invite you all to
I will be short.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, I
I
will
would
be
love to
short.
pick your brain a little bit more. We have 9 minutes.
Not because T&D is my passion. I really love training and coaching, but not based on this. I really think that T&D investment will just increase in the future. But in addition, I need to say that organizational culture, which is our key topic, must be somehow treated in the future much more carefully. So I think that in this part, T&D budget will play a very important role. And additionally, I think all of us will think more and more about some well-being budgets and something like that, which is existing now in some company, but I'm quite sure that in the future it will be a hot part of the HR budget.
Yeah, thank you. Next question I would love to tackle. Let's do one short on the mindset. And you can see that even though we are pushing a lot of trainings and things like that, still, if the mindset is not there, nothing happens. So, Alisa, if I can take get your take on this one, how do we open up the mindset of the entire organization so they can adopt new learnings?
I mean, first, the organization has to translate, again, coming back to values, innovation values. So and also support the culture of learning by not punishing for each mistake. You don't make mistakes if you don't do anything. So, and I think this is important because then people won't be afraid to do and to propose. So there are a lot of instruments like innovation programs in the companies. But from the other side, and this is like, I like this new trend, but it's going hardly. I think now we need to teach our employees that they're responsible for themselves. It's not anymore you come to company and you spend there all your life. You are a resource, and you have to keep yourself in a good condition. And our good condition, it's our being in line with our profession. As I say, accountants first, when they came, they were counting like manually. Now they use computers, and that's nothing strange. So we need to take care of ourselves to be a valuable resource for our company. And we need to bring this knowledge to our employees. And I think then they will understand and they will run after HR, asking them to help for development.
Thank you. Marina? What do you
I think this mindset of, let's say, open mind, continuous learning and everything is coming actually. This is coming actually from the, let's say, from the company mindset. And if we are talking about the company mindset, we cannot forget that this company has owner, CEO, top management, and so on. We are talking about employees, and this is all normal to somehow encourage them to have this mindset. But I really believe that if we are not taking care about this top level, talking to this level of people constantly, trying to encourage them to change their mindset if needed, or to recruit people on this level who are very open-minded, I think actually that we don't have a lot of chance for success.
Yeah, without that role modeling from the top. Sanja?
Absolutely, I would agree with that. And I think it's also very important to keep hiring for this mindset. I mean, the managers, like from top, like need to keep looking for these meta skills that people have, curiosity. I'm not sure we can change somebody's level of curiosity, maybe slightly, I'm not sure, but curiosity, flexibility, empathy, to be able to work with others. And why all of this is so important is because these are the meta skills that will help us solve the problems of the future and be ready for the future, which is uncertain and where we don't even know whether we have the hard skills to kind of when we get there. We're talking less about hard skills. That's what I noticed. In recruiting, for example, we really think that our hiring team helps us increase the quality bar of the organization. So they have to hire better than we have currently, and that's kind of the aim that they have. And they look for these people that have this mindset already. And when we have them, I think the trick is to keep challenging these people on the job all the time. They will learn and they will find their ways. And this, I think, nurtures this continuous learning mentality. And I think if you stop challenging your people and giving them, keeping them constantly in this slightly outside of the comfort zone, I think they're just gonna, either leave because their mindset doesn't allow them to be there. They will push for more. They might also kind of lull themselves, so that's not what you want, I guess. So yeah.
So it's role modeling, it's challenging, it's inspiring, it's the empathy, it's a combination. And when I'm listening to you, I would love to get some final thoughts, and I would just put you in this surrounding. Now we have, as you mentioned, uncertainty all over the place. We also have a constant clash from execution on one side. I think Slavko was today talking about like it's a chaos. On one way, you have execution, on the other, you have innovation. Let's innovate and get some new things in the market, or new process, or new way of doing things. And you have to balance those things. It's a challenge regarding structure, regarding development, recruiting, everything. So what are your final thoughts, if I can get it like from each of you in the 30 to 40 seconds so we can get there on time? What are your final thoughts and some advices for HRs regarding this topic? So let me start, Marina, if you want to.
Yeah, I can start. I just want to mention one concept that we need to have being and doing mode all the time. And in this crisis time, we as an HR should be very flexible to jump in one and then another very, let's say, smoothly. Why? Because if we have this attitude, then company can see from us as a role model, have it the same. And all the time mentioning, then in this crisis time, we still have to have being mode, thinking about day after tomorrow, because COVID time will stop once.
Okay, thank you. Alisa?
What I know from also the researchers, to make somebody accept something, you needed to explain, to give any explanation. And actually, the results were funny, but still, you need to provide explanation why you're doing that. If you do that, then people will accept and will support that. So I think that's the first thing. Also, from HR side, we need to probably, as I said before, help people to develop creative thinking and to see opportunities, because if it comes from them, it's their proposal how to develop further. We will have supporters much more, and they won't be frustrated because that will be their goal. And when they will see the result, they will be even more enthusiastic. So what else? I think also from as what we can do as HR from practical side, we can try to make more contact between the org units, because only in synergy of different knowledge, the new things are possible and are more acceptable. Because if HR implements something, finance is not happy because they don't understand. But if we are more in cooperation and for example, team buildings helps that, then we support each other, and then we are not confronting but supporting. So in the short.
Thank you. Sanja, can I get your angle?
Yeah, so I was I was thinking more about this topic, like what's the about the clash between execution and in the sense of you have products and they are alive, and you need to keep them alive and earn the your keep for them, but then you need to innovate. And I think gaming industry is a market-driven industry. That's the how it survives. You need to keep investing in innovation. For example, everybody knows about Angry Birds. It was made after 51 attempts at creating a game. So we have, if I could explain what Nordeus is like, it has top 11, which is, I won't talk too much about it, but it's like super successful, and it earns our keep. And we need to kind of keep this business operation our like strategic priority. But then we have also teams that are trying to create games that are going to be equally successful as top 11. And that's our innovation playing ground. And we kind of support differently this one executional, if I can call it.
That's what I
and then the other games. And how we support them is by making sure that we have resources there, small teams with critical capabilities to be able to ship the new games successfully. And then also these leaders that lead these teams that grow from 4 people to 30 or 40 in a few months, and then they dismantle really quickly when the games are killed. It's a challenge. So we do stuff like that, and innovation culture and fostering that is super important. It's also a science and an art how to do that. So
thank you, Sanja.